Hey everyone, you know who this is. You know what's happening because you read the video title. Um, and you might hear some music in the background. I figured I'd let you guys share the joy of the hold music with me while I'm making this video, due to the banality of the music and the message that they keep assuring me. Because, well, this is going to be a fairly unoriginal video, but I'm going to try to make it a little entertaining by using words like banality, right? That's a 10-cent word you don't hear every day. Look it up if you don't know what it means. Please don't ask me. But, anyway, moving on, I'm going to talk about what happened, obviously. So, Wednesday is when it occurred. It's now Friday. So, but let me preface before I go into the details of exactly what happened. The company that I was employed with is in the aviation industry, right? Essentially, what the firm does is they design aircraft engine parts, right? That's essentially what they do. So, as you can imagine, that business is absolutely booming right now. So, due to their decline in business, that is why I'm out of work, right? So, that's that. So, anyway, the event, right? Uh, what happened was Wednesday I went into work as normal, right? Not knowing that the hammer was about to fall down on me, obviously. I go in, start my normal work day. Then, I'm asked into HR's office with my boss. And I know I've been through this shit several times, which we'll get to. And so I know the score by this point. Anytime you're asked into HR's office with a manager, it's never, hey, here's a giant raise or anything. It's you're either getting written up or you're getting fired. Right. Those are the only two reasons that ever happens. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I knew I was probably going to lose my job as soon as they said that. I was thinking to myself, well, before I went into the HR office, I was thinking to myself, well, this is either you're being furloughed, which means you still have a job, but you're not getting paid, and you're not working for a while, or I knew it was either a furlough or a layoff. I was hoping for a furlough, but I was gifted a layoff. But I will say one thing positive, a few positive things about the organization that did lay me off, surprisingly, right? They specifically waited. They had made the decision a few days ago, like towards the tail end of March, right? They decided to wait until April 1st to basically let me keep my health insurance as long as I could, right? They wanted to maximize that for me, so I greatly appreciate that. They also did give me some severance, so basically I'll get 2 more paychecks from them. I'll get all my back vacation pay, all that stuff. That'll all happen, but, so they did try to give me as soft of a landing as they could, right? They also told me, something no other place that I've ever been laid off from has told me. They said it might be 6 to 8 months before they can refill the position. And they actually did say to me, they said, hey, we'll reach out when we're ready to refill this position to see if you want to come back, to see where you are, to see if you want to come back. So I got to give them credit there. I've never had that offered to me before. I've also spoke to a few, coworkers there, and they said they think that they're pretty genuine in that sentiment. Otherwise, they wouldn't have said it. So, and we'll see. I mean, that would be very cool. But I'm certainly not going to rely on that whatsoever. Because that would be a pretty foolish thing to do. So, that's basically what happened. I mean, they're losing a huge amount of their revenue. You know, a large chunk of the company are going. I mean, they've been laying people off already. They're going to be laying off more. I'm just part of the massive loss of revenue and cutting me loose because of that. So that's just going to unfortunately continue there. And it's ironic because I think as recently as just a month ago, maybe, because we have meetings, right? And in some of the meetings I was involved in, they didn't seem super concerned with, I guess they didn't think they were going to lose revenue the way they did. They were actually, when the coronavirus thing was starting to, really make news waves in early March, late February, early March, they were more worried about the fact that if they didn't do a work from home thing, that they may just have people like leave their employee to go work somewhere else. They were more worried about keeping employees happy to make sure that they could retain people, rather than we're going to lose all this revenue and have to let people. I don't think it wasn't. I can tell you that in early March it wasn't even on their radar. I don't think very much that they'd have to be letting people go, and then it just it flipped very quickly. So it is what it is. Ironically, just very recently, of course, it was 2 weeks ago, I don't know, right before Ohio's stay-at-home order was initiated, whenever that was. Shit's been happening so quickly, I don't remember. Maybe it was 2 weeks ago. I don't know. I put in a lot of time helping them, ready all these machines, all these resources, to enable their workforce to work from home during all this, right? There's a lot of work. So the irony is rich and thick in the air, right? It's huge. And then of course I lose my job due to this whole COVID-19 thing. But it is what it is, right? You can't change it, or anything. So that's pretty much my thoughts on the actual process of being laid off for what it's worth. What I'm going to do now is we're going to have a little bit of an interlude where that I recorded earlier today, where you will experience some of the joys of dealing with unemployment that I've been having. And then I'll come back and we'll talk about, what I've been doing since the event. So, see you guys in just a second.
Alright guys, I'm going to just show you some of the bull crap I'm going through with unemployment right now. Right now, as you can see, it's 7:11 a.m. I got up at 6:50 to call unemployment specifically because they open at 7 a.m. The first two times I called, I got a business signal. Third time, I did actually make it through the line. But let me show you the shit, even at this early hour, that you get when you call unemployment. It's infuriating. So we'll just call them together. As you can see, I made a phone tree in Word because I've called these fuckers so many times that I know what options to hit.
Thank you for calling the
to try to get
Department
somebody.
of Job and Family Services Office of Unemployment Operations.
So I'll hit 1 for English.
Continue in. This call may be monitored or recorded.
And there's no way to skip this recording.
Answer all
it's just a huge waste of time.
correctly. Your answers will become part of your own federal law provide penalties.
See, even if I hit the next option,
to obtain benefits up to and including prosecution.
You just can't
You
do
must
anything.
have
So you gotta
driver's
wait.
license or state ID prior to speaking with a representative. Don't wait in line. To avoid long hold times, we advise you to file
Like I said,
online
there's no way past this.
unemployment.ohio.gov. You may file online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Please listen carefully, as our menu options have changed. If you are responding to a statement of overpayment that you received in mail,
That gives
if you
me
need
an
to
option.
file a new or reopen an existing unemployment claim,
1.
press 1.
This is the only way to get them
You're
during their...
currently experiencing an exceptionally high call volume. Please try try again at another time.
That's
or
it.
if you have access to a computer, visit unemployment.ohio.gov. From this website, you can apply for benefits.
Basically, they're telling me to
file
fuck
weekly
off.
claims,
They're not even going to let me
and
wait on
obtain
hold
other
or
information about the unemployment program. We apologize for any inconvenience. To repeat this message, press the star key.
So I'm going to go ahead and log into their website, and I'll show you what I've been seeing all fucking day. So you just do that off site or off camera so you don't see my social security number or whatever. Okay. And see, it just hangs up on me. And as far as the online chatting feature goes, we've got, it says offline, right? All I've been seeing on the Ohio, this is the Ohio unemployment website that I'm logged into now. All I ever see is either offline or busy, right? I've not been able to speak to a human whatsoever. Now, I guess I'm quote unquote lucky because I already had an existing claim from last year that I could reopen, which I did. But I have questions about my claim. Like, I need to know if reopening my claim will let me get the expanded coronavirus benefits, if it'll add time, what I have questions I need to talk to an actual human being about, but that's absolutely fucking impossible right now to get a person of any sort. And I specifically got up at 7 a.m. just to call these fucking assholes because that's their expanded hours and I'm not able to get anyone. And I've been calling every half hour. I guess that's just going to continue. So hopefully I can talk to somebody today, but we'll see. On with the rest of the video.
Okay, so we're back now. I hope you guys have seen the awesomeness that is dealing with a governmental agency right now. It's going absolutely fantastically, as you can see from that portion of video. And I'm so glad that I got up early today to experience that and capture that for you guys. So anyway, time to talk about what I've actually been doing since the event. The day that it happened, the first, it happened around 9 or 9:30 in the morning. It happened fairly early in the day. So obviously after that, I just went home. What else am I going to do, right? You know, I immediately got, I think the first thing I did when I got home was, I think I did, I guess I was, quote, lucky that I had a unemployment claim from less than a year ago, so I was able to reopen that, right? Online, it was pretty easy. It was straightforward. It wasn't difficult at all. So there's that whole thing, right? And that happened. That was like literally the first thing I did. But the reason I've been trying to reach out to unemployment so much, and I'm just going to reiterate this, I can't honestly remember if I said it in the interlude or not, but the reason I'm trying to reach unemployment is I have a human being that I need to speak to. I need to get information. You know, hey, since I've reopening this, will I just automatically get the expanded coronavirus benefits? Do I need to do a new claim? Will this extend the amount of time I'm eligible for? Blah, 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 fucking blah, right? So I do need to talk to a person to ask them some questions related to it. But whatever, that's why I'm trying so hard to reach unemployment. And as you can see, that's going absolutely fucking swimmingly. So I did that on Wednesday. Also on Wednesday, I talked to, I just talked to all my friends a bit. Luckily, none of my friends have lost their jobs. I guess that's a good thing. So they're in a better boat than I'm in. Although one of my buddies, his primary source of income is door dashing, and that is not going so well for him right now. I don't, he has a hard time like holding down jobs anyway, but yeah, what he was doing is largely dried up, unfortunately. So yeah, I talked to friends a lot on Wednesday, right? So that was basically my day Wednesday, getting laid off, talking to friends, filing for unemployment. And then yesterday, which was Thursday, right? What I did essentially was I got up fairly early because I can't sleep all day. I started I spent a huge chunk of the day trying to call unemployment. I called unemployment like once every half hour, and of course didn't get anyone at any point. I was in chat all day, nothing. So that's basically where I've been. So aside from that, what else did I do yesterday? I got my resume up to date. Made sure it was good. And I'm lucky enough that I actually have a pretty good relationship with my former boss. I actually called him up and, kind of ran through my resume, and I was like, hey, this is what I have on my resume for this job. Do you think I forgot anything important? He's like, no, I don't think you forgot anything. And that was pretty much it. And then I joked with him a little bit, and then we got off the phone. So I guess I'm lucky that I have a good relationship with him, but, that's neither here nor there. So that was a chunk of what I did. I did have an opportunity yesterday to make some money, which I took up. You guys may or may not be aware, I do IT/computer work on the side, and honestly, my best customer needed some work done, so I did some work for him. I made a couple $100, which is great. So I did make some money yesterday, but obviously it's not an everyday type of thing. There's no work today for me, and that was that, right? And I applied for some jobs last night. So basically, I tried to get benefits / applied for jobs, right, and made some money. That was my day yesterday. So what have I been doing today? Well, today I got up real early to try to call. I think I'm gonna give that up because that apparently doesn't do any good. Getting up, before 7 a.m. Because as far as being unemployed, the only real upside to it, there's not many, but I guess the biggest one is you don't have to get up as early in the morning, right? Because you don't have a job you have to go to. That's the only upside to it. Other than that, it's all pretty much garbage. But hey, at least you don't have to get up quite as early. So there's that. And but I gave that up. I got up, almost as early as I would to go to work just to try to call unemployment. That was a complete fucking failure. So I don't see myself doing that. So anyway, I did that. I called them. I ate breakfast. Then my wife went off to work. Thankfully, my wife has a job, so she was off to the races. And then I, at that point,
all of our associates are assisting other callers.
Tried calling unemployment a couple more times. Got no luck.
Otherwise, please
That
stay on the line.
after that, I decided to call my wonderful mortgage company, because right now, one of the benefits that's being offered through, if you have a mortgage, is basically, I don't know if it's called a deferment or what it is, but basically the way it works is if you don't pay your mortgage for, say, 3 to 6 months, however long this bullcrap lasts, right? What they do is they basically just add time at the end of your loan. So if I don't pay my mortgage for, say, 3 to 6 months, instead of once I'm through that period, I don't have to pay 3 to 6 months of mortgage all at once, because that would be pretty tough. What they do is essentially they just extend your loan by that amount of time, right? They're like, okay, well, if you don't pay for 3 months, then your loan is just 3 months longer than what you originally thought it was going to be. And I'm perfectly okay with that. I probably would still pay something to go into the escrow account, though, because I don't want to not pay escrow for 3 to 6 months, and then when my payments are recalculated for next year, having them shoot up into the stratosphere because I'm severely behind on escrow, because my property taxes and homeowners are paid through my mortgage, so I'd want to at least throw something at them to keep that a little more in balance. But I'm definitely okay with my loan being extended a few more months. And right now, that's who I'm on hold with, is my mortgage company, trying to get that to happen. I've been on hold now for an hour and 46 minutes. And I called them literally the minute that they started operating, which is 8:30 a.m. Eastern for their mortgage department. I called them at that time, and I've been on hold ever since, because right now it's 10:16 a.m. And yeah, so anyway, I did that. So that's what I've been doing today. I spoke to my first recruiter today because I put my resume up on all of the stupid job sites last night, and I look forward to getting all of the scam job offers that I'm sure to get. All of the 100% commission-based sales jobs. I can't wait to start being flooded with those. And just for fun, I might end up going to to one of those interviews. Just for fun, maybe, just so I can make a video about it. I don't know if I should, I'll probably go dressed professionally, because if I go dressed like this, they'll know that the jig is up and I'm just there to screw with them. But I might go in there dressed relatively well and try to, but when when I get to the quote interview, I might just say, if they ask me, why, I might say things. Well, I'll say, I got caught selling some stuff recently. Is that going to be a problem? I might just try to say the craziest shit I can think of to an interviewer, just for fun. We'll see. I mean, I don't know if I'll go for those scam job interviews or not, but yeah, maybe just for a little bit of fun, I might. But whatever, that's neither here nor there. I could tell you though. So specifically, what makes this more unique for me, right? I guess a big part of this is, since I've had my channel, I've had this channel for 5 years now. This has happened to me 4 times in that amount of time, right? The first time this happened was back in February of 2016 when I got a layoff, right? Then I got another job in a week, right? That was a really fast turnaround. But it was just a contract job, a 3-month contract. That's it. Then that job ended, right? So I count that as a separate time because I was out of work again. So after that contract job, I was out of work for 3 months, essentially, right? Then I found a job that was absolutely terrible at that point, that I hated beyond belief. And then cycled to May of 2019, May 31st of 2019, when I get terminated from a job. And they treated me very poorly. I think that was basically based, I think they were doing it as a cost reduction thing, but I think, some people there just didn't like me for whatever reason. God only knows why. I have such a winning personality, I can't imagine why not everyone would love me. But, yeah, they just decided they didn't like me, told me to fuck off and die. Well, they didn't put it quite in those words, but, there's that. And then, I got the job that I have now, a month late, or not have now, had. I was only out of work for a month, and then I got that job. And then, obviously, I just got laid off from that job, right? So that's basically where we're at. And here we are, right? So what makes this time different from the other times this has happened to me? Well, I guess there's the biggest difference, obviously, is the reason and the timing. Right now, we're seeing unprecedented levels of unemployment. They're saying right now, I heard an estimate that the unemployment rate might be 32%, right? Holy shit, 32%. If it actually is that high, that's amazing. That is higher than during the height of the Great Depression, right? Which is ridiculous. I'm sure that's why that's why everyone's having such a hard time navigating through the maze of benefits and all that, because there's just overwhelming demand for it right now, right? I looked at job boards last night, and
All of our associates are
one thing I
assisting other
noticed is
callers. If you would like to
there's
leave a
way
message,
less
please
jobs
press
posted
1.
to them
Otherwise, please stay on the line, and the
than
next
there
available
typically
associate
are,
will be
right?
happy to assist
The
you.
traffic on the job boards from employers seems to be a lot lower than it usually is. So that's a very troubling sign. I did manage to apply for 2 jobs last night, and one of the jobs I applied for made me throw up in my mouth a little bit because, as you guys may or may not be aware of, I'm an IT professional. So one of the jobs that I applied for had mentioned in the article there is a 24/7 on-call rotation. And if any of you have been in IT, you know that phrase should make you want to throw up. Because that means if something happens, yes, you can get called at 3 a.m. to deal with whatever the problem is. It's truly awful, and I was hoping to avoid that, but at this point, beggars can't be choosers. So, but at least I guess there is interest in me since I've already heard from a recruiter from a tech hiring company. So it's something. We'll see where that goes. It may or may not go anywhere because that's how those things go. We'll see what happens. I have no idea how long this is going to last. I don't know if this is going to be like one of the really quick ones where I'm out of work for a very short amount of time, or if this is going to be a longer term situation due to the worldwide economic crash that we're currently experiencing. And a lot of people say, well, once this coronavirus is over, the economy's just going to snap back and everything's going to go back to normal. I don't think it's going to be quite that easy. With the level of unemployment we have, I don't think it's just going to snap back like a rubber band and everything's going to go back and we're going to be humming along. I think the economic fallout we're going to have from this is going to be absolutely ridiculous for a while. So I can tell you one thing. I am getting, I always bounce back from this kind of stuff, or at least I have in the past. I can tell you I'm really getting fucking sick and tired of bouncing back, right? It's getting really old. Unfortunately, I can't really seem to get ahead in life no matter what I do. And the other downside to this, obviously, is my children are home because school is shut down, right? So it's not just me; it's affecting my kids as well. And both of my children are now always here. My teenager, who was previously living at Job Corps, is back. So that's another mouth I have to feed now. And my younger child, sadly, is out of school for the rest of the year as well. And she's 9 years old. The thing about her is, come Monday, I'm going to have to basically be her teacher because kids are having to do schoolwork remotely, right? And for all you parents out there, I'm sure you can imagine how easy it is to deal with a 9-year-old trying to teach them things. It's an incredibly joyous experience, which is why I decided to become a teacher in the first place. Recently, she had a school project that we were trying to do, and that was incredibly frustrating. Basically what we went through is it was about the Whitewater Canal, which is a very boring subject, by the way. So I had her trying to read it and do it, and all I kept hearing is, I don't get it, I can't do it. At first, I'm like trying to translate, and at first I'm like, just please read it, and then I'm like, okay, I'm going to say this in, quote, kid terms that you can understand, and I would say whatever it was in the article to her in kid terms, and then try to get her to change the wording around some, and she still wasn't getting it, and she just kept whining and whining and whining, and finally I get to the point where I'm like, read it! This is what I'm saying! But yeah, I don't know if it's going to be if that's going to just be my life now. Who knows? I hope not. So anyway, I've rambled on long enough about this. I will be making a separate video about how I personally feel about the wider societal implications of all this. So that's pretty much it. You guys know what to do. Thanks so much for watching. I'm not feeling my normal ending here, so see you guys next time.